It's been 6 months since Romain Belgrove, the owner of a tire shop in Camps, spoke to SK Newsline about a container placed precariously next to his business. That container structure is on the property of businessman Othniel Heiliger, who operates next door. Today, Mr. Belgrove is expressing frustration as, according to him, despite several attempts through the planning department to intervene, the container is still there.
I've been basically hearing the same thing over and over. Since about the 27th, I think, or December, the container was placed there, and about the 28th, which was a Monday, I called the physical planning unit and made a complaint about the container. They came, they looked at it, and they went and spoke to the owner. Then they left. Didn't hear from them. I had to call them again to find out what was going on. They said they spoke to him and they had asked him to remove it. Nothing though, he was still up there. A couple weeks passed, I called him again and asked him again what was going on. They're still saying that they spoke to him and they told him to remove it, and if he did not, they would have to write him letters. Well, we're in June now, that was since December. We know in June, they say 6 months later, and the container is still here. And basically for the past 6 months, I've not been getting much communication or cooperation from the physical planning unit. I mean, every time I want to find out anything, I have to call them. Nobody calls me. I made a complaint and nobody calls me and tell me what's going on with my complaint. I have to call them and ask them what is the progress, and every time I call, it starts to say that the people there on the top, every time I call, all they could tell me is that they just spoke to the gentleman concerning the container. Every time I call, they just spoke to him.
Mr. Belgrove said the situation is affecting his business.
Some customers come here and they heard the news interview, and they now come and they told me that they heard the interview, but they now seen the container for themselves, and they didn't know that it was so dangerous until they now see it. And the problem is that some of those customers, they don't return. I'm already having things difficult when I'm trying to make enough money to meet my payments. And when I now have customers see that container and refuse to come back because of a fear for their safety, that is putting me in an even worse position. How am I supposed to make money to pay the bank? I can't afford to not pay the bank. I have equipment, I have to pay for them.
SK Newsline spoke to Mr. Randolph Edmead of the Planning Department, who said that even though it appears that action on the matter is moving slowly, it is being addressed through due process. He said the department met with Mr. Heiliger after a stop order was issued. Mr. Heiliger, he said, issued a letter indicating that he would provide some engineering information to prove that the container structure is not posing a threat to Mr. Belgrove's establishment. Mr. Edmead, however, told SK Newsline that though the department felt the structure is posing a threat, they were giving Mr. Heiliger the chance to submit his information, but the time has now elapsed and the department will proceed to take action. Mr. Heiliger had previously refrained from commenting on the matter when contacted by SK Newsline. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.